Wants to throw it to Sewell. He caught it. He stole the first down. Oh, yes. The big man dives down the 31-yard line. Oh, that is beautiful. Fields looking, pressured, hit from behind, take it down. Aiden Hutchinson got him.
No respect.
So, we look like we're ready. This is day one.
No respect.
All right, Lions fans, I decided I wanted to take a look at the power rankings, kind of with everybody, go over it, and not do a video this time. So if you do jump in, this is going to be a quick one. Just let me know that you can hear me in the chat. Say hi or what's up or whatever. That would be wonderful. So last week, and that's where I want to start, is last week, I was livid with the power rankings. And I wrote this piece out on social medias, kind of gave my 2 cents. And I had a few conversations with some of the other people that do this and talk about it. And I got mixed reviews. But the similar thing that everyone was saying is, these are really speculative and more along the lines of opinions. There really isn't much fact-based knowledge kind of going into these things to a degree. So with that said, here's what I wrote last week, and then we're going to take a look at the power rankings this week and see if anything's changed. So last week I said my power ranking take, something just doesn't add up. After more thought, I'm changing my stance. And that was, I did the video and then I gave the Lions a ranking, and then I went back and I kind of changed it. Said I see bias for the Chiefs. And it makes no sense other than they are the team to beat from last season. They are the Super Bowl champs. I don't understand the Jags hype at all. They are atop their division, so I guess they deserve some respect. But my opinion is simple. If your team has beaten another top-tier team, then or that is winning their division, and your records are the same or similar, but given the fact that you may have a bye week, you could be off by a win. Your team shouldn't be ranked behind that team. Is anyone following me yet? I mean, does that make sense, to you? It made sense to me. So then I changed my top 8 power ranks to look like this. I had the Eagles 8-1. They were number 1. Their bye week was week 10. The Ravens were number 2. They're at 7-2. Their bye week is week 13. The Lions, I had at number 3, 6-2. Their bye week was week 9. The Chiefs, I had at number 4. They were 7-2. Their bye week was week 10. And the Jags, I had them at the 6th best team ahead of the 49ers. And I know all of you are about to kill me for saying that. But there's the reason why is what I just said. Their bye week was week 9. Anyway, the Niners at 7, Saints at 8. I said, the Eagles beat the Finns and the Cowboys. They take on the Chiefs after the bye. So that's going to be the telling sign is, how, are the Chiefs for real or are the Eagles for real? They pick up the Cowboys and the 49ers later in the season. So really they haven't taken on a plethora of really good teams just yet, right? They're beating a bunch of, second tier teams. The Ravens beat the Lions. They take on the 49ers, the Finns, and the Jags, towards the end of the season. So they won't really face any top tier teams other than the Lions from now till then or until the playoffs. The Lions beat the Chiefs and the Bucks. The Bucks are a pretty good team. Away at the Chargers this weekend, which we just saw what happened, was a shootout. They will not face any other top tier teams until they meet the Cowboys in week 17. The Lions beat the Chiefs and the Bucks, right? And to me, that was enough to give them a better ranking than the Chiefs because they beat the Chiefs. And that's kind of where my whole diatribe went, was based on the Chiefs were getting ranked higher than the Lions pretty much everywhere across the board. And I didn't like it. So whether you're in agreement or not, that's my take on it. If your team beats another team, that's in these, top 8 ranks, then you should be ahead of that team. Now, if you are, multiple losses different, then I think there could be an argument, but there wasn't in this case. So I won't finish the rest of this. I want to jump into the power ranks for the rest of this week. So, all right, what's up? I see mile marker 301. What's up, buddy? 7-2. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And fives of the week. Hey, nice to see you guys. They need to tighten that D up. Yes, they do. My goodness. When I did my halftime show, which is the first time I've ever done a halftime show, and I'm going to continue to do them as long as I'm not at the game, or who knows, maybe I'll do it from the game. We'll see. I thought that it was going to be a tight second half unless the Lions started to put it together on defense. And I guess I shouldn't have said that because, man, that went down to the wire. Hell of a game, but I think everyone's heart rate was up for quite a while after the game. All right, let's jump into the power ranks this week. Are the Lions moving up or are they staying where they are? That's the biggest question. It depends on how much or no respect that the Chargers really got and what everyone thought about it. Again, apparently these are mostly opinionated ranks. Very little by the way of, statistical and, logistical analysis kind of going into these things. So first one I'm looking at is clutchpoints.com, and they have the Eagles as the number 1 team. No change, no surprise. I 100% agree. It says the Eagles win streak has hit 3 games after their week 9 win over the Cowboys, but a week 11 tilt with the Kansas City Chiefs will give Philly one of their biggest tests so far. See, I agree with that. The status of Jalen Hurts will be important to follow, as he did leave their win versus Dallas with an injury designation. I did not see that. That'll be huge for the rest of the season if Jalen's banged up. Just got some information in from Eric Rintamaki. Just signed Bruce Irving to the practice squad to help with pass rush and Big V to IR. Man, that sucks for Big V. But, what I said in the beginning of the season is I kind of expected it. Backs suck. I've been dealing with my back now for 3 years, and it sucks. Every day is different. You can feel great for a week, and then you can't get out of bed for a week. It's terrible. Well, I'll have to do something on that after this. I'll have to do my due diligence and see what's up with Bruce Irving. Man, I wonder who we're going to get to replace Vaitai. Because we do need somebody. We got to pick someone up. All right, so here's what I love about Clutch Points. They shot Detroit Lions up 3 spots to number 2. As much as I believe that's true, that the Lions deserve to be there, I'm going to have to follow what I just wrote last week and see who else should be in that spot. So one of the most fun games of the week 10 slate was the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Chargers in an absolute shootout. Man, it was fun. Jared Goff, 333 yards passing, 2 TDs. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, 116 yards for Montgomery, 112 yards for Jahmyr Gibbs on the day. Amon-Ra, 165 yards. Those are all combined all-purpose, I believe, yards. They all ate against the sieve, that is the Chargers defense, but it took a last-second field goal to earn their 7th win of the year. Here's my question for you guys, and I didn't expect to get a bunch of you in here. I appreciate you all coming in. Would you rather have won that game by a touchdown and Dan Campbell go for it? Or do you think that he finally played to his strength and was a little bit more conservative in focusing on the W as opposed to, and I'm not saying he has a giant ego, but I feel like Dan, the player, comes out at times where he knows that they can score. He knows that they should be able to do what they want, for these next 2 or 3 plays, or at least he feels that way as the player. And sometimes the player comes out versus the coach. I think that's the kind of 2 sides, Dan. And I feel like now he's kind of stepping more into a coach role the last few games, where in the beginning of the season, I mean, look, I don't care that we go for it on 4th down. I completely agree that there is more of an opportunity or of a chance, or the percentages are about the same to punt it versus go for it. Just depends on where you are in the field. So I'm 100% in agreement with that. It's just when we're in the red zone, like, do you go for it every single time or you take the points? That game could have went either way. We did not expect what happened in the second half. And that's where in the beginning of the game, you're like, probably should have took the points earlier. So, all right, couple of chats in here. Let me get to those real quick. Testia Cold. I'm not real sure about that name, buddy. The Lions got old man Bruce Irving pass rush up. Yeah, I just saw that. Someone else sent that in too. And Will Akers says, what do you think about Bruce Irving signing? I just learned about it. So I've been in the lab all day creating. I have not seen this news pop up just yet. And thanks for stopping in, Will. Appreciate it. And Eric says, I just put that one up. Eric says, Coach Dan is really growing. I was at the Viking games last year in the same exact situation. He did say he would never do it again. It's interesting. I feel like he's growing too. I think that, you need at least 3 seasons for any coach to kind of figure out the team, their strengths, their weaknesses, get their players. And I think that Dan is finally starting to get all of that. And it really helps that Brad Holmes is just an absolute genius with these drafts. All right, I'm going to push on. This is all about power rankings. So I'm going to push on through this. According to Clutch Points, Lions are the second best team in the NFL, and Kansas City is the third best. Baltimore is the fourth best. San Francisco comes in at number 5. Miami at number 6. Jaguars at number 7. Cleveland at number 8. And I'm not going to go any further than that. So I'm going to look at the top 8. So are you in agreement that the Lions are the second best team? Do they deserve to be there? They are in front of Kansas City, Baltimore, and San Francisco. So now I'm going to move over to Yahoo. Let's take a look at Yahoo, Frank Schwab. Let's see what he has to say. And the number 1 team on his list. Where did it go? There we go. Philadelphia Eagles, number 1. Kansas City Chiefs at number 2. Now he says nobody should care what players do on their bye weeks, and Travis Kelce going to Argentina to see some Taylor Swift shows isn't a big deal. But if Kelce struggles after the bye, you're going to hear about it. I don't know if that type of statement should be involved in a power ranking report, but whatever. I'd like to see something more about football. I could care less about Taylor Swift. He's got the Lions as the number 3 team. He says, this is how you know the Lions are rolling on offense. They had a pass play called on Sunday. What a huge play, by the way. But the wrong personnel on the field. They needed 2 tight ends for the called play, but somehow they only had 1 on the field. So Jared Goff changed the play at the line, and that was the run for David Montgomery's 75-yard TD. Look, this speaks volumes to Jared Goff. When I saw this after the game where they were talking about this situation, and Goff to recognize that they had something, that they liked, and the fact that whatever Ben called didn't get run, I think it tells you something. Jared really knows this offense, and he knows what he has for personnel. And yeah, there was a great run by Montgomery, a couple of nice moves, definitely, really sweet cut there towards the end, or about the middle, about 10, 15 yards in. They really helped that play to open up. So incredible job by Jared Goff, but even more incredible that he audibled to that. So Frank has the 49ers at number 4 and Baltimore at number 5. Miami at number 6, Cowboys at 7, which is shocking, and the Browns at 8. All right, the last one I'm going to go to, and then I'm going to jump back to your chat in just a second, is NFL.com. So NFL.com has Eagles at number 1, Kansas City at number 2, and the Ravens at number 3. The Lions at number 4. San Francisco at number 5, Miami Dolphins at number 6, the Cowboys at 7, and the Jaguars at 8. This is why I got so upset last week, because NFL.com. I just don't get it. Who wrote this one? Let's look. This is Eric Edholm, lead draft writer for NFL.com. So, I mean, the Eagles, look, they're 8-1. They deserve to be number one. But now you have the Lions and Kansas City both 7-2. Head to head, the Lions beat the Chiefs. How could they possibly be behind the Chiefs? And I get it. It's power rankings. It's nothing really in here statistically, analytically going on. I think it's more of an opinion, because this has to be just an opinion as to more of looking at strength of schedule and stats and head to head and everything else. It just wouldn't make sense to me. And it definitely wouldn't make sense to me that you have the Ravens at number 3 when they have 3 losses. So back to what I wrote last week, unless you have a bunch of losses, difference between you, your head-to-head should really matter. This is a toss-up to me. In this case, I would still put Baltimore at 2. I would put the Lions at 3 and the Chiefs at 4. That's just my opinion, and it's only because the Baltimore Ravens wiped the floor with the Lions, and the Lions beat the Chiefs. So that's my top 4 for the week. In week 11, I would definitely have... Right now, I would have Miami over San Francisco. I'd put Miami at 5, San Francisco at 6. And I'm not too sure on where Dallas fits into this. But I definitely would have the Cleveland Browns over top of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'd probably put Jacksonville at 7, drop the Cowboys to 8, and that would be my top 8 ranking for the week. Now I'm going to jump into the chat. All right. Back up here. So Eric says number 2 for the Lions. And I guess, anybody could make a nice argument for that. They really could. It's just the argument is the Ravens, the Lions, and the Chiefs are battling for number 2 and 3 and 4 right now. The only thing that really matters is that we need these Eagles to take a loss or 2, and the Lions keep battling through what is potentially a pretty weak schedule for the rest of the season. Lock up the North is rule number 1. Rule number 2 is how badly do you want that number 1 seed? And let me ask you this as a question too. If we get to week 16, and I haven't done the math since 2 weeks ago, but let's say we can lock up the division by week 16. I think that there's still a potential to do that. So let's say we get it done week 16. And you have an opportunity to get the number 1 seed if you win the last 2 games. And that's all you had to do. It doesn't matter what the Eagles do. All you have to do is win the last 2 games. Are you resting players? Or are you going for the number 1 seed? I think that's the question of the day today. All right. Mile marker 301 says 4th equals Philly, San Francisco, Chiefs, Lions. All right. So you got San Fran is 2 with 3 losses. Really? That's interesting. Mike P says, I think Dan handled it perfectly. He is no longer a player. He's a clock. He no longer a player. A clock control and thinking. He is a clock control and thinking coach. Yes, he's really smart coach. Really, really smart. My analogy earlier was it's all an opinion in PTSD. It sure is, man. Every week it kind of makes you a little nuts, doesn't it? Lion Syndicate says Dinosaur Bruce Almighty. I am not following that one, Derek. I'm lost on that one. My marker says, and I've only not lived in Philly. Okay, so you've lived in all of those places. That's awesome. What's the mile marker 301 mean? What state would that be? What highway would that be on? I guess is a question. So I guess let me know in the comments. Are you guys, according to mile marker, right? You've got the Lions at number 4. I've got the Lions at number 3. I've got the Ravens ahead of them because of the head-to-head. That's just where I'm at on it. I think that they're deserving of number 3, and I'm not saying that they can't get to number 1. They can. They just have to continue to do what they did this past weekend and step up their defense. The defense is scary. And I'm glad we got, Bruce Irvin. I don't know much about him. I'm glad that we got somebody that you guys think will help out our pass rush. The question is, will it translate to the field? And what does that mean for, the player like James Houston? What's going on with him? Everyone was slated to kind of come back after week 10. We'll see how quickly they really need to rush these guys back, because going into the weak part of the schedule, at least what we perceive to be weak, this is the NFL. Maybe you just hedge your bets and you keep winning and allow your players to really rest and stay healthy and get them in, to get reacclimated to the NFL again after their injuries a little bit slower, but be ready for playoff football. So it appears that November 3rd, no, that's an old one. Bruce Irvin. I want to look this up while I'm on here. Come on, where is it? I'm not even finding it. Well, I guess we're going to have to take a look at it a little bit later. I'm going to have to find the exact information on this trade or free agent signing, it must be. I'd like to know more. But it looks like he played with the Raiders, Panthers. Did he play with Seattle too? Interesting. Well, I hope he helps because we need it. But like I was saying, listen, for these Lions to really make the next step, or at least a big jump, and into the next step of locking up the North number one, but going after this number one seed and then actually doing something in the playoffs, they've got to fix this defense. We've seen a phenomenal, much holds true just about every single week, whether it's Amon-Ra, getting 100 plus, or now Mani getting 100 plus. And by the way, after this, when this goes back, to the live section of the YouTube, I will be releasing another video that I did today, talking about my new nickname, the One Pride Express dynamic duo of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm going to release that video shortly after this live ends. And then don't forget, this weekend, if you have an opportunity to get tickets, Bye Bye Barry will be featured this weekend. I believe it starts Friday night at Fox Theater in Detroit. And then it will be released, I believe, on Amazon. Don't quote me. I'll have to find out and post it. But I will be at the opening night. Hopefully Barry comes and is sitting with us watching it, because I think it's going to be phenomenal to learn a lot more about what happened to Barry. But speaking of Barry, watch my next video. It'll be popping up here in probably 15, 20 minutes. And we're going to talk about the One Pride Express and how excited we should be for many years to come with a running game back in Motown. It's been a long time coming. And I'm going to look at a few more chats and I'm going to bounce out for the day. So Mile Marker says Irving is a strong, solid, and sacker. Balanced help for Hutch. Man, that'll be great. It'll be really great. Bruce Irvin, we signed him. Doesn't look like Derek is extremely happy about that one. Yeah, I don't know anything about him, Derek. I really don't, man. And I'm not finding it. I'm not finding anything for some reason when I just did a quick look. Jordan says, nah, man, this is the Showtime Lions. Love it. Showtime Lions. Love the Showtime Lions. Well, now it's the One Pride Express, the dynamic duo coming at you. In any city near you, we're going to come take it over. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining in on this kind of a last minute live. I just wanted to talk about some power rankings and see where these Lions are ranking in your mind too. I've got the Lions as the third best team in the NFL right now. they string together a few more wins, and there's no reason why they can't climb up to number 1 with a couple of Eagles losses. And we'll be looking at that later in the week. Where's the best opportunity for the Eagles to take a loss? All right, y'all. Hope you have a good night, and thanks for joining in. And don't forget, if you guys are just now finding out about Rocked On Detroit Lions, click that subscribe link if you're on YouTube, or go to Rocked On Podcast Network on YouTube. That is our YouTube name, Rocked On Podcast Network. And follow along. Come on in and see what we're all about. Got about 150 videos in there for you to check out, and more to come. All right, take care.
Wants to throw it to Sewell. He caught it. He's going on first down. Oh, the big man dives down the 31-yard line. Oh, that is beautiful. Fields looking pressured, hit from behind, take it down. Aiden Hutchinson got him.
No respect.
So, we look like we're ready. This is day 1.